Happy February 3rd. JLD here, and welcome to MicroStrategy Today. In this show, we talk about the mindset that is needed for MSTR holders as we go through very volatile times, which is the definition of this stock, the roller coaster that we are on. We talk about strike. We have an update there. We talk about FASB implications, what it actually means. We have a message for the bears. And then there's a classic Michael Saylor video that I have for you. It's back in 2020 when he first adopted Bitcoin. You don't want to miss that. This video is not financial advice. And remember to comment below where you're watching from. Any comments you have, I read them all. And let's get started. Okay, today's first post is from MicroStrategy. My investment in MicroStrategy is not based on financial analysis alone. It is based on a comprehensive philosophical, political, and economic analysis which challenges the presuppositions of modern business and the current crumbling zeitgeist. It is as much an artistic expression as an allocation of capital. Financial analysis places no value on honor. There is no premium placed on courage, no multiple on the valuation for valor. Today, we are witness to a rebirth. Honor, courage, and valor will be unearthed, dusted off, and repositioned at the heart of society. But show no fear. God loves bravery. And then here's the image that he posted below. And this is just to the mindset for MSTR holders. It's going to be a very volatile road. You have to embrace the volatility. It is the vitality. It is a feature. It is not a bug. Michael Saylor has designed MSTR intentionally to be intelligently levered, to be volatile, because that's why it works. There's going to be so much FUD out there, fear, uncertainty, doubt, so many bears. But if we stay the course, if we believe in our convictions, and we surround ourselves with the right people, we're all going to make it. Next post from Bitcoin Archive. Just in, MicroStrategy will have up to $584 million to buy more Bitcoin after its stock offering was oversubscribed by nearly 3x, increasing from 2.5 million shares to 7.3 million, priced at $80 each. And this is from a Fidelity alert. I'll click on this if you want to pause and read this. It just kind of goes through what the new issue offering is all about. But very good news. Adam Livingston shares the FASB rule change is the red pill that will awaken the normie investor class. Imagine an earnings call where Saylor gets to look directly into the eyes of institutional investors and announce a $19 billion profit simply for existing in a world where fiat is collapsing. For 4 years, the greatest corporate trade in history has been buried under the weight of archaic fiat-slanted accounting rules designed to suppress Bitcoin adoption. MSTR has spent the last 4 years quietly amassing an empire of pristine collateral. Yet under previous FASB rules, their quarterly earnings made it look like they were getting rugged. Traditional accounting forced them to mark down BTC price declines, but never mark up gains. A rule set designed for depreciating assets, not an immutable monetary asset undergoing global monetization. With the FASB rule change, MSTR will be able to mark up Bitcoin appreciation as profit on their balance sheet. This isn't just a minor adjustment. This is a moment the normies wake up. This is the optical catalyst that forces the TradFi herd to acknowledge what's actually happening. Imagine a world where MSTR, a so-called software company, starts reporting billions, yes, billions in quarterly profits, not from revenue, not from cost cutting, but from holding the hardest asset in history. This is the trigger that forces the legacy investor class to understand that Bitcoin is not just some speculative asset. It is a financial weapon capable of transforming corporate balance sheets into unstoppable capital appreciation machines. Here's what happens next. Institutional fund managers who for years ignored MSTR because of impairment loss will be forced to take notice when its P&L suddenly starts printing record-breaking earnings every quarter. Traditional value investors who only care about GAAP net income will have no choice but to recalculate their models, realizing MSTR isn't just a tech company, but a Bitcoin ETF with a corporate flywheel attached. Wall Street analysts who've been sidelining MSTR in favor of dying boomer stocks will be forced to revise price targets upward as the fundamental metrics start blowing every other asset out of the water. And then comes the mass adoption event. Every single company with a treasury allocation melting USD will look at MicroStrategy's earnings reports and realize they are leaving free money on the table. The question will no longer be, why is MSTR holding Bitcoin? But why the heck aren't we? The floodgates will open. First, other tech firms will start stacking, then industrials, then financials. And then, as a final act of capitulation, banks, the same institutions that fought Bitcoin for over a decade, will start adopting it as a tier one asset because at that point, it will be existential. MSCR is about to become the most optically attractive stock in public markets, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. The FASB rule change is the Trojan horse event that will expose just how broken the fiat accounting system really is. And by the time the boomer investors catch on, the reevaluation will already be underway. This is the greatest financial awakening of our lifetime. It is upon us. The fiat system will die in broad daylight. So for those people that were wondering exactly the importance of FASB, I hope that helps clear some things up. And a message to the bears: stop crying, from Adam Livingston. I'm noticing a lot of anxiety-ridden, low IQ holders with high time preference, nervous about potential price action today. Let's get something straight. If you're out here crying about ATM offerings, you fundamentally do not understand MSTR, Bitcoin, or leverage capital allocation. MicroStrategy is now a macro strategy. This is not a normal equity play. This is not some boomer stock you value on EBITDA multiples. This is highly optimized, asymmetrical Bitcoin accumulation. And now, after MSCR just acquired 218,887 Bitcoin in less than 90 days, there are still people out there whining about dilution. How low IQ are these MSTR bears? Wake up. Here's what's happening. ATM offerings equal fiat liquidity engine. MSTR is issuing shares strategically to acquire more Bitcoin at scale. This isn't just equity dilution. This is a calculated mechanism to increase BTC share over time. Bitcoin per share ratio is expanding. More Bitcoin per share, higher intrinsic value per unit. Saylor is ensuring that MSTR tracks Bitcoin with maximum leverage, making it the ultimate vehicle for exposure. This is a controlled spring loading process. Capital raises are not random. They're executed in phases to maximize Bitcoin purchases at optimal entry points. Anyone complaining about this doesn't understand how financial engineering works. Leverage plus scarcity equals exponential returns. Bitcoin supply is capped. MSTR is increasing its exposure while fiat weakens. The result, a supply shock in the making where MSTR holders benefit from both Bitcoin's appreciation and MSTR's leverage effect. Final form, the BTC hyper black hole. Every ATM issuance fuels more Bitcoin accumulation. Every BTC accumulation strengthens the BTC per share ratio. Every increase in BTC per share attracts more institutional FOMO. The flywheel keeps spinning. The end game, MSTR doesn't just track BTC, it outperforms it. This is a fiat liquidation warfare disguised as an equity. Saylor isn't diluting shareholders. He's systematically transferring wealth from weak hands to Bitcoin maximalists with conviction. TLDR, MSTR is hacking the entire fiat system to extract max BTC exposure. So if you're still bearish after 218,887 BTC stacked in under 90 days, you might want to check your IQ because fortune favors the bold. And now we are going to move over to Michael Saylor back in 2020 doing his first interview after his first initial Bitcoin allocation. Michael, take it away.
Bitcoin near record highs, crossing 23,000 for the first time as institutional investors continue to pile in. Our next guest is a big proponent of Bitcoin. His company MicroStrategy has bought more than $1 billion worth in 2020, and the stock is climbing right alongside the crypto. Both up about 125% over the past 3 months. He even tried to convince Elon Musk to convert Tesla's balance sheet from dollars into Bitcoin in a Twitter exchange, saying Musk would be doing shareholders a favor. Joining us now to discuss MicroStrategy and its strategy on Bitcoin is the chairman and CEO, Michael Saylor. Mr. Saylor, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Happy to be here.
Let's since Elon Musk is such an interesting cat, you had an exchange with him and he about Bitcoin, and he said you said yes. I purchased over 1.3 billion in Bitcoin in the past months, and be happy to share my playbook with you offline. Has he followed up?
I can't speak about my conversations with him, but what I can say is that Tesla, Apple, and Google all have the same problem. They're sitting on huge piles of cash and they're dissipating shareholder wealth at a rate of 15 to 20% a year times that cash. They need to turn that from a liability into an asset. And the best way to do it is convert it into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's going up more than 100% a year. Cash is debasing at 15% a year.
But people put money in cash because it is stable and presumably, even though you're quite right that cash can lose value in real terms, but Bitcoin can be a very valuable asset, a very volatile asset as well, right?
It used to be, but it's looking much better by the month. Bitcoin's the world's first engineered safe haven asset, and it's running on the world's first digital monetary network. I mean, everybody in the world, every institutional investor is looking for a safe haven, and they're all losing faith in gold, and they're losing faith in sovereign debt as a safe haven. So Bitcoin is sitting at the right place at the right time. It's very appealing to anybody that wants to preserve shareholder wealth.
Hi, Michael. Rahel Solomon here. Question. So you say it's becoming less volatile, and yet I wonder, do you think that Bitcoin still has a credibility issue? And if so, how do we move past that, or investors such as yourself move past that?
If you'd asked me about Bitcoin in February, I would have said, "Bit what?" In March, everything changed. And since March, we've had Paul Tudor Jones and Stanley Druckenmiller, and we've had Bill Miller, and we've had Rick Reeder, and we've had Guggenheim, and we've had Skybridge, we've had MicroStrategy, we've had Square. We've got an avalanche of billion-dollar entities coming into this space, and they're not here to speculate on leverage with an uncorrelated asset. They're here because they want the world's best safe haven investment grade treasury reserve asset. So as the institutions buy Bitcoin, its volatility changes and the characteristics of the asset class are maturing.
I just want to come back and poke a little bit at the safe haven thought there, because it's not very long ago that this was an asset that went up to $20,000 and then it was back down at $3,000. And if you were looking for it to be a store of value, that would be a store of unvalue. I mean, so you make the argument now that because a lot of people are coming into it, the dynamics of the marketplace have changed, that it's not going to be prone to those kinds of dramatic sell-offs. Am I understanding you correctly?
Look, it's totally different investors. It's institutions, major corporations. There's no leverage. The use case is different. The use case is to buy a treasury reserve asset and hold it for a decade. Massachusetts Mutual, a life insurance company, is buying it. Why? You want a long duration asset. Bitcoin is engineered synthetic pharmaceutical grade gold. It's all of the benefits of gold, but you can't make any more of it. It's got none of the hangover of gold. And so it's appealing to people that want to store their money away for many, many, many years. There's nothing better.
And there you have it, another episode of MicroStrategy Today. Here's the receipt for my purchase from Friday of $211 at $341 for MSTR. I'm going to be buying some more today, and it looks like it's going to be at a lower price, bringing down my dollar cost average, which is what DCA is all about. And remember, this video is not financial advice, but please do comment below where you're watching from. Any feedback, any thoughts that you have, share them in the comments. Some great discussions are going on there right now. And remember, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.